living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life.
See, I stayed in the gutter like Lee. Through the hard time, mama and your son, you believe that I could be anything I wanted. Give me everything I asked for. Went out your way to give me things I never asked for. My mama used to tell me all them niggas not your friends. Then I got shot by my so-called friend. Should've listened to my mama, cause Barbara got game. Football, basketball, you was at them games. Caused you a lot of pain, and I'm sorry for that. Gang banging, selling crack, I can't take that back. Can't replace that fact. That this a chapter in my life. Just to see you, I close a chapter in my life. Drug dealing, thug living, constantly running the streets. I get it from my daddy, I'm just like B. The love run deep, and my sisters feel the same way. Hey, that's what the song say.
You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life.
Ma, I know you never asked for a son like me. You're thirsty, how I fall so far from the tree. A black sheep, I was thirsty, so I drunk from the street. And what's beef? You know they say you are what you eat. I make my own bed, so I rest my head on the sheet. Doctors say you was brain dead, I wipe the tear from your cheek. Rub your head, kiss your forehead, ma, go get you some sleep. And I ain't mourn the day you went home, we celebrated for weeks. I know you're arting with your father, watching over your grandkid. While I'm sitting up in prison, my career at a standstill. Things change for your son when you back from an aneurysm. Step pop packed up and took our baby brother with him. Didn't leave us with no fair warning. He left us stuck in the crib with ritual in the morning. I set up shop with my brother Norman. While y'all took ignoring, we getting dough listening to the Time Joiner Morning Show.
You know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. I was made by the street, all I know is the gutter. I watched my mama fight crack, so I know about the struggle. July 21st, mama forced birth and spit me out. Drug Castro, Lord OE, sniffed the ounce. More higher premature, caught me ahead of my time. Plus a bun haters, that's why I smile and think of you. I ain't mad, I'm a survivor, that's what you were meant to do. And when I blow, I'ma give you the life that was meant for you. Everything we've been through, I just put it in the songs. I know sometimes how I put it is wrong. Just forgive me, but if I get my foot in the door, I promise they won't forget me. If I don't take over the world, I promise they won't forget me. Everything my eyes seen, the drugs and guns, crack houses, street corners and bums. Niggas killing for crumbs. I got hurt, but my feelings is numb. Only reason I even is that what's still to come. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life.
For you I done burst slugs, cause you my first love. When we met I was bloody, but you still gave me my first hug. That showed me the want for love. You named me after Papa Cuz, and I seen you. I'm surprised you not paraplegic. Anything that I needed, you went out and broke your back to retrieve it. I turned one, you bought me operation. Said measure be my occupation, and for you, I'd give anything, more heart, my kidney, liver, or lung. But that's nothing compared to letting Dr. Young deliver your son. I give you this G6, watch you landing at your mansion, just to watch you laughing and see we on now. Money long, strong now. We don't need the States no more. We could go home now. Hurry up and pack your bags. You've been waiting a long while, mama. Now I've been needing it for a long while.
You know why? This is how I'm living living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me and my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me and my vision of life.
Mama, the word love does not fully express how I feel for you. There's nothing in the world I won't do or give you. Every breath, every step, my every success is for you. Without you, there's no me. Without you, there was no me. I thank God for every second that we spent together. You always be my first love. So smile for me, mama.
I just had to show my guys some love. Shout out to Hammer Gang, Flint's own Hammer Gang with Smile. I hope y'all can hear me. I always say that, don't I? Let me see. Okay, I think, yeah, my mic was acting up. Let me just check it. My mic sound nice. Check one. My mic sound nice. Check two. Y'all know nothing about that. That's that old school. Shout out to Salt and Pepper. Are you ready? Y'all know I am straight hip hop. Okay, that is so bad, right? I am definitely the female KRS-One. I will not lie to you. That just shows you my age because I said KRS-One for those who know. I also want to shout out Invisible Trendsetter coming to a website near you. The website is humbletrendsetter.com. You will be seeing more of this. I will be putting the Invisible Trendsetter merch on the YouTube channel. And thank you so much for Stu Nino, who has been rocking the line, and everybody who has showed some love in the past. But I do appreciate you, Stu Nino, since you got a movie, you know, that you have been working on, and you are really interested in the line, and you're giving your girl some shine in the movie and all of that. Shout out to Queen Muff for showing love with Humble Bougie. So that's what it is. And guys, listen, I just be having like the itch sometime to just jump on here, and I just be like, you know what? I'm just about to jump on. So sometimes it just be impromptu. It don't, like, there's no getting it together, no structure, no nothing. If I see some videos that's dope that I want to share and include you guys in, then that's what it be. So I'm really speaking to the people that find interest in any time. I mean, like, it could be tomorrow, it can be tonight, you know, and you'll log on and appreciate, you know, what I'm saying, because that's the number one thing. It's about what I'm saying and what you're looking at, and if you have the same interest as me and connect with me on that vibing level. So what we're going to be discussing today, let's see. Shout out to the I appreciate it. Shout out Stu. Hey, if you want to come in at any time, just let me know. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in am on my Facebook page, and I am on IG right now as well, if anybody from IG wants to come in. And I am also on my YouTube channel, and this is Fresh and Friends, okay? But oops, I put the wrong thing. I got the Drake update on there. I'll change that in a minute, guys. But what we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is actually today I seen two videos, one this morning, one this evening. This morning it was a Tupac video that just inspired me, and then I wind up having an epiphany when I watched it, and I was like, this is Kendrick. Like, one of the things that Pac said in the video was, I might not be the person to change the world, but I may be the person that sparked the mind that changes the world. And when I heard that, it was like, ding, that's when I was like, oh, I got to jump on today. Well, I was going to jump on just with the Pac video. It's just different clips of some things that I want to discuss and dissect. But then later on, I wind up seeing my boy What's the Dirt. Shout out to What's the Dirt. I'm definitely going to give him some credit. What's the Dirt is really well known in the whole industry. Like a lot of the hip hop heads, successful artists, they watch his YouTube channel because he breaks down bars better than anybody. He actually dissects and does a lot of research, and his videos is so entertaining. So this Euphoria, because we've been waiting on this. All of the fans been like, hey, what's up with Euphoria? So this was his dissect today. And he already probably had 1 million views knowing him. But this was his dissect for Euphoria. And so I want you guys to ride with me and walk with me on actually watching the Pac small clips, and then kind of we lead into the Euphoria, and you'll see how it all coincides with Kendrick actually having the crown. The crown is supposed to go to K-Dot. He's changing the world. He is definitely changing the world. But let's see here. Yes, I'm so upset. You know, I be trying to have everything on point. I totally forgot to change my my heading, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and take this off for tonight and just put my name. Shout out. I see some people coming in. Thank you so much. Let me look at my Instagram. Thank you so much for only STMT. The only STMT. And you know what? Y'all make sure that if y'all is on IG and y'all see this, make sure that y'all go and show some love to this young lady. She has a dope fashion line, and her fashion line is all natural materials. Everything about it is 100% natural, and you can't even put her in a box. Like she doper than Gallery. She doper than a lot of these different streetwear lines, but she's not just a streetwear line, but she does have some dope stuff that a lot of fellas and females like rocking. So go check her out, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm going to make sure I put her website in the link. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have her give me her website, and then during the show, I'll add it to the link. Okay, I got some comments. Let's see. Cynthia Haynes. What's up, Cynthia? I'm still trying to get you up on here, Miss Hip Hop Head. Anybody out there got their red wine or got a little something? Because y'all take a sip with me. Cynthia, what's going on? Yes, wait till you see this breakdown. This was Cynthia. Every morning I watch a motivational video, okay, after all my prayer and all that stuff. And so something told me to watch Pac today. And when I watched it, and I just was so inspired. So I already was going to do this one. But then later on, I wind up watching What's the Dirt since he came out. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So yeah, I'm about to break that down. I'm going to go ahead and look at some of these comments, and then I'm going to break it down. Thank you so much, IG, for watching too. That song, Nice. That song, Nice, is going on the soundtrack for show. What song? The song I sent you for me, or Hammer Gang? Let's get it clear now. Make sure you type that up. Guys, I sent Stu a song of mine for his soundtrack. So I'm hoping that he's telling me that he liked the song that I sent him. If he did, the name of the song is called Black Girl Lost, and it is oldie but goodie. And he's like my song. Yes. Okay. So it's official. I'm going to be on the soundtrack. Hey. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Yes, he said, yes, my song. And I do want to give shout out to Hammer Gang once again. I had a lot of their stuff. Man, it's so much old school music. I told y'all I'm in a nostalgia mood. So I'm gonna be playing a lot of artists from the Fly City area. That gave me music when I was a college radio DJ back in the day, as well as start, getting more current music from some of the people all over, because I know a lot of people in different cities and states all over, and I'm just going to be reaching out to them and trying to show some of the local people love, like in Chicago, Atlanta, Cali. I'm going to be hitting up all my peoples. Okay. So y'all get ready. If you want to meet this guy named Jerry Flandale, he has a hip hop studio in Detroit, which is awesome, along with his hip hop history. Okay, set that up with for me, sis. We'll talk more about that. Okay. Yes, Hammer Gang. That's right. So let's look at yes, no problem. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay, let's go ahead and get this cracking, guys, cuz I'll be talking to y'all on here the whole time, and it's people that's ready for the show. Okay, so the first one we're going to show is actually Pop. And what I'm going to do, so you guys understand, because this is more of a bar breakdown situation, I am going to be showing some of the clips from Tupac and the things that he said, and then we're going to discuss a little bit of what he said in that bar. So it'll all make sense once you start to see what's the dirt for the Euphoria. Okay. All right. So let's get it. Let's go.
Getting pimped. Whether you work a 9 to 5 or whether you work for yourself, you're getting pimped by somebody. That's not the crime. The crime is how long you allow yourself to get pimped. You have to come up. Everything is a come up. Everything is a struggle. You start from the bottom, working to the top. I think everybody shines.
Okay, so let's go back real quick. Let's go back. And let me put this in a different format, because I want y'all to see more of him and less of me. There we go. All right.
Everybody's getting pimped. Whether you work a 9 to 5 or whether you work for yourself, you're getting pimped by somebody. That's not the crime. The crime is how long you allow yourself to get pimped. You have to come up. Everything is a come up. Everything is a struggle. You start from the bottom, working to the top. I think everybody shines in different things. It's important that I just put myself 100%, apply myself, and represent, the young black man, whatever I do. More importantly, that than, let's get something real meaty, real political. I really just want to put myself, make myself being political by having my principles, living by my principles, and applying myself to today's society. I don't want to be I don't want to be 50 years old at a BET, We Shall Overcome Achievement Awards. You know what I'm saying? Not me. I want, when they see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther. Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say.
Okay, this is where I want to stop it at. Y'all see all them jewels? It was just too much. It was just too much. So y'all can just imagine how I felt this morning, right? When I was watching this, I was just like, oh man, I miss this man and his mind. Okay. One of the biggest things in this part of it is him saying that he pretty much everything that he say, he want to make sense, and he want to make sure he add to the world and not subtract from it. And that's deep because of the fact that so many people, and it is a known fact that people are way more selfish than they are selfless. But if you really listen to him, he's like, it's no holds barred with me. I don't have time to be polite and tiptoe around people and and how they may feel if I say something that is real. I'm just gonna say it, and either you're gonna like it or you're not. And and one thing about him is that he didn't care who you were. He was going to make sure that he spoke up about whatever it may be. It was not about, oh, this is the president, I'm going to tiptoe. Oh, this is this person. He did not care about people's titles and positions. And that is one of the biggest things that I love about him. Everybody could get it. Okay, let's continue.
All BS aside, it all comes down to we got to survive. I mean, even warriors put their spears down on Sundays. We got to survive here in this country. We got to survive here. For us to survive here, white folks, black folks, Korean folks, Mexican folks, Puerto Ricans, we got to understand each other. We got to take a bigger chance. And when I say Americans, people think I'm talking about Uncle Sam. I mean, like, actually Uncle Sam with the gray hair and the flag. I mean, you, the guy, you know, you, the mechanic, wherever, you. I mean, you need to do something. You need to check yourself and see how racist you are. You know what I'm saying? It's real. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm gonna rule the world or I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's
okay. This is the part that really caught me. And when I said, this is K Dot all the way, because keep in mind, I'm a big Tupac lover. Everybody knows that about me. Everybody. And then K Dot, everyone in the industry, everyone knows how much Tupac means to him. And K Dot's birthday is the day after, to my knowledge. So the day after Pac's birthday. So when he said this, and he humbly said, I may not be the person that changes the world, but because of what he put in, because of all the seeds that he planted, there is somebody that was going to take the reins and run with it. And we have had several people that have been dope, that have came out, that have spoken out after Pac, but nobody like Kendrick. Because Kendrick is also unapologetic, and he's like Tupac in a sense, even though Pac was a little more flashier when it came to different things. But K Dot mindset is the same as Pac's, and that's one of the reasons why I'm attracted to, you know, learning more about the things that, you know, about Kendrick and how he operates, because he is from the hood, just like Pac, and everything he say makes sense. So thank you so much, Cynthia, for I'm going to be putting up people's stuff on the screen as well.
Our job is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody's going to clean it up.
My mother taught me 3 things: respect, knowledge, search for knowledge. It's an eternal journey. That's like my haircut, the line. 360 degrees, find knowledge, always. And she taught me to not be quiet. If there's something in my mind, speak it. That's what God, that was the breath. She always taught, but also to listen. And she told me this little joke that God gave you 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth to speak. 2 ears and 1 mouth, common sense. 1 mouth, you should speak, but you should also listen. And that's where the knowledge comes from, listening. And once you get the knowledge, you can speak, and it helps you. So she taught me respect, knowledge, and understanding, mostly, you know, just listening. I can't explain why I shine and no one else shines. I think everybody shines in different things. And a lot of things I can't do. I can't play basketball like every other black person in America. But I can act. I know how to go to that true spot in myself because I'm there every day. I can be me. I can be whoever because I'm true to me. I can go to neutral easily. A lot of people, black, white, Mexican, young or old, fat or skinny, have a problem being true to themselves. They have a problem looking in the mirror and looking directly into their own souls.
I have no patience for anybody that doubts me. None, at all. It's too hard out here. You know what I'm saying? If my people don't stand up for me, who is? I understand these white folks looking at me like that because they don't know me. They didn't hear keep your head up. That ain't no fluke. You know, keep your head up ain't no goddamn come up. I didn't do that to be smiling in my face to say, oh, he's cool. I did that from my heart. So that if they do try to put a rape charge on me, my sisters could say he ain't about that. Now, if my sisters can't say that, you won't hear another keep your head up out my mouth. You understand me?
I think that when there's hopelessness, people revolt. Because it's like there's nothing that's like, you know, it's like we're going, is America gonna help us ever? You know?
Okay, now this part is heavy. And just like he said, when there's hopelessness, people revolt. And we have seen that time and time again with a lot of different situations. Okay. The new situation is a lot of people Black Americans feeling second or third or fourth because of more of this migrant situation happening where we're still not getting our just due. And then now we have like so many other different things I won't go into, but one of the biggest things that he's saying is, will we ever have a just due in America? Will there ever be a time in America where we actually are looked at as people and can get what we're supposed to get without having to constantly fight, constantly be, like go through so much turmoil and trials and tribulations to get what our ancestors as well as us is supposed to get?
Because I mean, we know for a long time they haven't. Are they ever? And it's like all these things are showing us no. And there's somebody going, no, they're not gonna help you. No, they're not gonna help you. And then of course we seeing no, they're not helping us.
The reason I sell 6 million records, the reason I can go to jail and come out without a scratch, the reason I can walk around, the reason I am who I am today is because I can look directly into my face and find my soul. It's there. It's not sold. I didn't sell it. It's still within me. I still feel it. My heart is still connected to my body. So I could, any character, I'm gonna bring that intensity, that truth, that honesty to it because I have to repay for that blessing. From Black Jesus, from God, I have to pay for that by shining. If he give you the voltage and you waste it, that's the curse. He gave me the voltage, I'm gonna shine. It's not mine, it's from God, it's God. Not that it's so special that nobody got it, but all of our gifts and blessings and our strengths and our weaknesses come from God. Come from Black Jesus or whoever comes from within you, you know what I mean?
And this is the part that makes him so special, as well as Kendrick and so many activists and different people that fight for us Black Americans. Even though Pac and Kendrick they're just humanitarians, but also they're still fighting for their culture as well. But they tap within themselves and they understand that there is something higher than themselves and they give homage to that, and it's God. Okay. And I love the fact that they don't hold it up. It's not, oh, I don't know what it is, or they're constantly trying to not give props because of the fact that Hollywood doesn't like when you start talking about God and different things like that. In this world is even colder when it comes to having some type of religion or spirituality. Okay, it's kind of shunned upon, unfortunately. But anybody that understands that and tapping within themselves and understanding that it comes from a different source and not themselves usually become very successful in whatever they're trying to do. Okay. It's almost like Pac is living through K-Dot right now.
I mean, so it's not really tricky. Everybody can do it if they just can go to that spot. I guess all the things that happened to me in my life allow me to go there easier.
To be real, a role model. I want to be instead of a role model, I want to be a real model. Because a role is a role. You know what I'm saying? If I always play like I'm so goody-goody, then somebody see me doing something bad that every human being has to go through, and they're gonna go, wait a minute,
he ain't cool, you know what I'm saying, then I'll let him down. But if I be me, I can never let anybody down. Because I'm going to have to be me. I don't want anybody to follow me whatsoever. I don't want to argue. What I want you to do is to listen. And I'm telling you, in my album, in the movie, in this interview, hopefully I'll show people mistakes I made, and then they don't have to make that same mistake. And by me being real and telling you exactly what I did and not glorifying it or making it look better, then they'll see it for exactly what it was. It's an experience.
First of all, nobody could call me a sellout. I'm not going for that. I'm not even in that. I'm not looking for approval from the black community because we don't give approval. You know, we don't really do nothing but exist. So it's not like black people could tell me you a sellout or you true blue. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. I'm not even caught up in that. But I can see that, you know what I'm saying? The one thing we do have in common as black people is we share that poverty. So the thug side is more closer to the poverty than me being rich. You know, how can I come to any community center, you know what I'm saying, sporting a Rolex Presidential, all these diamonds, and be like, look, we, you know what I'm saying, gotta.
And I'm stopping it here. And shout out to my boy Rufo. Nephew, what's up? Shout out. He's on IG right now showing some love. Thank you so much for showing love. Okay, so what I was about to say on this part is he understands to make sure like that you got to tap within your community and understand your community and not be pulling up and this is why a lot of artists especially recently be getting hit up a lot because they go into the hood and they have on Rolexes, they have a whole bunch of chains, you know, they just out there flexing in the hood where people still, you know, trying to eat, trying to survive and struggle. And they don't think that that internally affects people. Of course it internally affects people. Even if somebody don't rob them or jack them or whatever, it's still an envy there. There's people that live in the hood that might just get a good job and people envy them just because they got a good 9-to-5. So you can imagine successful artists going to the hood and coming with all of their, you know, diamonds and different things like that in their big old fancy cars and parking there. And, you know, just like, to me, that just shows that you are out of, you don't understand your people. You know what I'm saying? You out of place, you out of pocket. Okay, we're going to continue.
But now when I say we, they know what I mean. I'm not saying like I live in this neighborhood and nothing, but I'm a thug and they thugs. They can relate to it. I don't even have to say that. You know what I'm saying? When I come, I don't have to say I'm real. They already know that. You know what I'm saying? From me being me, from not pushing the thugness, but I know from the business that everybody in this business is always whispering in your ear about what you can't say, what you can't do, what you can't wear in this world and in this world. It's two worlds, a white world and a black world. All I did was stand in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And say I'm living in both worlds. I can go to the streets and survive, and I can go out here and do my business out here.
If there's anything you want people to know about Tupac, what is it you like to say?
Number one, when I diss y'all, meaning this, I mean like when you come up to me and I'm not giving you the kind of reaction that you think I should be giving you, it's not because I'm ungrateful, it's because I'm nervous, I'm paranoid, I just got out of jail, I've been shot, I've been cheated and lied and framed, and I just don't know how to deal with so many people giving me that much affection. I've never had that in my life. So if I do that, don't take it personal, try to understand me and see it for what it is. Now I understand what it's truly like to be like, not that I'm a fine ass nigga, but I understand what it's like to be a fine female going in the club and all the guys just rush you before you ready to be rushed. You know what I mean? And everybody's touching you before you ready to be touched. So now I have a better understanding of what it's like to be a woman. But I also have a better understanding on fans not making me do things. I'ma do it because I love y'all, because I do appreciate what you did. But when you make me do it, I don't want to do it. I don't care how many albums you bought. You know what I mean? My fans to me are people who follow me and is down for me, understand me, and no matter what people say, they know me because they know my actions. They follow me through my career. Not people who just bought my album, because I buy albums all the time, but I just buy to listen to. Don't start, extorting me for your autograph and shit. You know what I mean? I'm real. I give autographs when I want to, not because I'm all that, but because I'm tired. And I want to be in this game for a long time. I don't ever want to hate the fans. And that's what these other niggas do. See, they might give you autographs all the time, but they hate you. And they don't even look at you like people. I do look at you like people. That's why I feel as though I can look you in your eye and go, yo, I don't feel like doing that right now. I don't feel like signing the autographs. And you should understand, because I'm looking at you like a human being. Let's kick it. Let's not take pictures. Let's just kick it. So y'all can't.
You see that? He said, let's kick it. Let's not take pictures. I look at you like a human being. Look at me like one. That is so real. And that is one of the biggest things that's been happening with Kendrick and people like, oh, it'd take him 4 years to do an album. Oh, he's not going to come back with a diss track because it's going to take him 5 years. It's going to take him this. Those are not real fans. And they don't understand that this man pens 100% of his music, his lyrics. And with that being said, that's not an easy craft. And it's more about, let's just have a conversation. Say hi to me, I say hi to you. How's the kids? Different things like that, instead of always trying to extort for an autograph, which I understand, though, artists are people too. And like he said, there's artists that will give you, and you could tell that it's just a routine to them. They just know how to write their name on everything, and they don't even look the person in the eyes. Pocket saying, I'm gonna look you in your eyes and kick it with you. Can we just do that? You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the realest thing ever. And I'm just trying to put like these different similarities together as we almost end this video, so that when you go into the Euphoria, you'll understand why this crown belongs to K-Dot. Okay.
Y'all can't turn on me. Don't change on me. Stay down for me, because I stay down for you. And don't extort me, and let's just do it forever.
It is.
This world is such a and when I say this world, I mean it. I don't mean in an ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a gimme. Everybody back off. Everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. If you want to be successful, you want to be like Trump, gimme, push, step, crush. That's how it all is. And it's like, nobody ever stopped. Just, I feel like, instead of us just being like, slavery's bad, slavery's down, bad whitey. I mean, all right, let's stop that. And everybody's smart enough to know that, we've been slighted. And we want ours. And I don't mean by like ours, 40 acres and a mule, because we're past that. But we need help. For us to be on our own 2 feet, us meaning youth, or us meaning black people, whatever you want to take it for us to be on our own 2 feet, we do need help. Because we have been here, we have been a good friend. If you want to make it a relationship type thing, we have been there, and now we deserve our payback. It's like, you got a friend that you don't never look out for. You dressed up in jewels. Now America's got jewels, and they paid and everything, and they lending money to everybody except us. And it's like, everybody need a little help on their way to being, self-reliant. If this is truly a melting pot in the country where we care about it, and Lady Liberty got a hand like this, she really loves us, then we really need to be like that. And it needs to be the black kids. And if there's a white person who got money, then he need to help them. He need to help black kids, Mexican kids, Korean kids, whatever. But it need to be real. And it need to be before we all die, and then you say, oh, I made a mistake. We should have gave them some money. We really should have helped these folks. It's gonna be too late. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you gotta pay your own karma. And that's when God make you punish. When God punishes you.
I have a whole energy that represents not just black youth, but white youth, Mexican youth. You know what I'm saying? That change right before you go from being 18 and unresponsible to when you go to being like 21, 22, and the whole world's on your shoulders. I believe strongly that my audience empathize with me, because I show that side. I show that emotion, raw, uncut, good and bad. And so I think I can bring that more funneled, more directed into screenplays, more albums, producing, managing. You know what I'm saying? If I can figure out just how to control it, I can use it on a lot of different levels.
I feel like, it's too much money here. Nobody should be hitting lotto for 36 million and we got people starving in the streets.
You understand what I'm saying? No one should be hitting the lottery for 36 million, and we are starting to lead in homelessness, pretty much. It's a capitalist country. It's always going to have to be imbalanced for that power to remain, unfortunately, unless there's somebody that really changes the narrative. The people behind the presidential puppet.
That is not idealistic, that's just real. That is just stupid. There's no way Michael Jackson should have, or whoever Jackson, should have $1 million, $1 billion, and then there's people starving. There's no way. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants. I know you're rich. I know you got $40 billion, but can you just keep it to one house? You only need one house. And if you only got 2 kids, can you just keep it to 2 rooms? I mean, why have 52 rooms and you know there's somebody with no room? It just don't make sense to me. It don't. And then these people celebrate Christmas. They got big trees, huge trees, all the little trimmings. Everybody got gifts, and then somebody's starving. And they're having a white Christmas. They're having a great Christmas, eggnog and the whole nine. That's not fair to me.
Okay, guys. This hold on, let me get on full screen. Oh, my bad. Okay, guys, Pac said it all. This was so motivational to me. Like, everything that he was spitting was real. And of course, these were just like small clips that they took from different interviews, so you can just imagine. But he is just extremely articulate, passionate, and a lot of times passion, when people are passionate, people get scared, because I'm a passionate person and I've been told that I'm threatening or okay, I won't go there. But yes, being passionate sometimes we get like a negative, it's like this negative energy behind it, but it wasn't like that. He just was passionate about trying to change the mind and the hearts of people and get them to understand and connect with him on his journey of him growing to be a man. And of course, just like everybody else, he has his convictions and contradictions and different things like that, because we're human. Nobody is one thing. We all have deep feelings and emotions about different situations. It's just about how you handle the situations, and also making sure that you are around the right people, because we get into a situation where we feel like we owe people, or we need to be loyal to people who actually don't even like us at all. Because I'm starting to realize that there's a lot of people that really don't like me. Even though they say that they do, or they love me, or hey, but it's the actions and the energy that I always look at. So sometimes you just got to distance yourself and keep going and continue to find your tribe of people that want to see you win, and you can feel it in your heart. You know it. They uplift you, you uplift them. They give you just this equal amount of energy. And you don't have to talk to them all the time. It's just when you do, you just feel energized at the end. You feel like you on the right track. Though that's your tribe. All right. Okay, guys. So I hope y'all enjoy that. I hope that you guys are still out there with your girl, because I can't look at the comments. But shout out to IG once again. Shout out to Facebook, and I do want to shout out to my YouTube channel because I'm in the algorithm now, thanks to Kendrick. No. So I'm trying to build this momentum up. But and it's like Pockets, not even about being monetized or nothing. I do this because I love it, because I you know, like I'm the same, you know, I'm an activist, always have been. So I want to, you know, spread and drop jewels and still do what I love at the same time. So these reaction videos and different things that I do is really based on my passions. Okay. So now we're going to get to the Euphoria bars. Do you understand? Shout out once again to What's the Dirt. He did a heck of a job. I'm once again going to have to stop it, and also for copyright reasons too, you know, stop, talk, pause, start. You know, I just don't want this to get shut down because it's an important video. Okay. All right. So let's get it. Let's go.
Guys, so I'm clearly behind the curve right now. Diss tracks are dropping left, right, and center. And all I can really do is do these one at a time. What I can say is that I put an enormous amount of effort and time into these videos. And there's a reason why all of my breakdowns are different from everyone else's. To try and figure out what it all means, like I'm not just pulling info from Genius, I'm studying the lyrics for hours and hours and hours. Like a lot of time goes into this. With all that said, just a week ago, Kendrick Lamar dropped a 6-minute diss record towards Drake. And I really do appreciate anyone that waited for this video, the patience. Like, I know what this moment is. I can't do this twice, so I'm trying to do it right. Alright, so first and foremost, the title, Euphoria. So much to unpack in this in itself. Now, as you guys know, on Drake's track, Tailor Made, he said that he was expecting a quintuple entendre from Kendrick due to his delay.
You better have a motherfucking quintuple entendre on that shit. Some shit I don't even understand.
And Kendrick did that in the title, and then some. Now, before I break down all the meanings of this title, I want to point out the true hidden meanings first, which everyone has missed, and it is quite literally a large part of the entire premise and setup of this record. Uma Thurman from Kill Bill recently tagged Drake in a post on Instagram, offering him the iconic suit where she fends off multiple opponents. Now, the objective of her character is that of revenge. She is quite literally trying to kill Bill. However, there is a scene in the series where Bill claims that she is a liar who is not just incapable of telling the truth about him, but telling the truth to herself.
Because when it comes to the subject of me, I believe you are truly and utterly incapable of telling the truth, especially to me, and least of all, to yourself.
To address his issues with her lies, Bill shoots her with a dart containing a serum called the Undisputed Truth, and states that the serum will cause a state of euphoria.
Gotcha! What lies within that dart is an incredibly potent and quite infallible truth serum. I call it the Undisputed Truth, with no druggy after effects, except for a slight wave of euphoria.
And that is quite literally the setup of how Kendrick approaches this record, by presenting what he feels to be non-stop, undisputed truths about Drake. It is in this track and the upcoming tracks where you will see Kendrick paints Drake as a liar, as an actor, as someone that lies to himself, and just like Bill in this movie, Kendrick does not believe a word that Drake says. However, in the very first line of this track, Kendrick makes reference to superpowers getting neutralized, which is the exact same thing that Bill talks about in the same scene of this movie.
There's the superhero and there's the alter ego. Batman is actually Bruce Wayne. Spider-Man is actually Peter Parker. When that character wakes up in the morning, he's Peter Parker. He has to put on a costume to become Spider-Man. That characteristic, Superman stands alone. Superman didn't become Superman. Superman was born Superman. When Superman wakes up in the morning, he's Superman. His outfit with the big red S, that's the blanket he was wrapped in as a baby when the Kents found him. Those are his clothes.
Bill describes the alter ego of superheroes who require a costume to become that character. This is exactly what Kendrick does in most of this record, as he strategically picks Drake's character apart. Bill then goes on to point out that Superman is always Superman. When he wakes up in the morning, he does not have a character, he was born Superman. Now, as we move further into this track, and as Kendrick alludes to Drake being a fraud, Kendrick is saying that when it comes to hip-hop, he is Superman. He was born this person in the culture that Drake impersonates with no need for a costume. So when Kendrick refers to superpowers becoming neutralized, he is essentially saying that in this track and in this war, he is removing the costume from Drake to expose his true identity. And speaking of beef, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Cook Unity.
Man, you better stop playing with me. Okay, I just need y'all to understand that this man put so much thought into this, while the world was saying that he would decide to not respond, because there's a couple of things I don't think he touched on. April 30th was National Honesty Day. He didn't touch on that. That I know. April 30th was National Honesty Day. And he dropped on April 30th, yo. He wanted to be honest about everything he was saying that he's been holding since 2011. Okay. So this beef has been stirring. Do you understand? I'm going to take this ad off real quick. Hold on.
And there is a few different subscription plans for you to pick. Choosing one of Cook from Cook series winning Victory, and Kendrick dropped the track on a Tuesday, alluding to how this record is giving him a win, also a reference to his upcoming tracks as well. Furthermore, Drake executive produced the hit show Euphoria, a show depicting the lives of teenagers who find themselves in very adult-like situations. Therefore, this reference is also clearly with respect to the ongoing rumors that Drake is into much younger women. However, the title is even more deeper than that. I'm talking about the studied phenomenon where people experience a state of euphoria before they die. This is by far the most strategic use of the title, as this is exactly what happened to Drake. Euphoria is in every sense of the word a bait track. Look at how confident Drake was. Like, Kendrick fucking knew. He had all those records recorded. Done, ready, waiting. Kendrick knew that Drake felt he had a slam dunk in his beef. He knew that when Drake dropped the Family Matters track, that Drake would have been living on a high, feeling like he won, leaving Drake in a state of euphoria. However, just like when people experience euphoria moments before they die, this is exactly what Kendrick did to Drake, strategically releasing a showstopper record just moments after Drake dropped. And look, you don't have to believe me, but I had this as a prediction in this script before any of those records even came out. I truly made the connection that Drake would experience a great deal of euphoria from that release, only to have it taken away by Kendrick. And it sucks that I couldn't get the video out in time, but seeing it all come true really just lets me know that all the time and effort that I put into this shit really does hold some weight. So this was literally all part of his plan. The long wait, the being quiet, like making Drake believe that he had the upper hand.
Okay, this is where the boogeyman. So everybody keeps calling K-Dot the boogeyman. Y'all know that. That's his nickname. So that's why he wasn't pretty much discussing anything with anybody. He was quiet. He dropped on a weird day, on a Tuesday. People definitely would not expect that. And so like his whole stance and the whole way that he just did this was just crazy. Just nasty work. Okay, hold on. Shout out to the real Kumite. What up, though? Oh my gosh, ATL in the building. Oh, the King of Walters. Are you still there? Okay, thank you so much for watching on IG. I am on YouTube, guys, so I know IG only allow you to watch for an hour, but please go to my YouTube channel. I just got to plug it real quick. It's youtube.com / at fresh in friends with the N, not AND, but N friends _ Okay. So just check a sister out. Let's continue this conversation. All right.
Strategy, chess, fucking phenomenal. With the title out of the way, I've seen some theories bouncing around that are trying to support the claims of Drake being involved with younger women through the use of the date that the record dropped, April 30th, also known as National Children's Day. It's a holiday in Mexico, it's not an American holiday. I don't see the significance. Then we got the theory of Kendrick holding back the record to drop it on the date that the
None of these theories are true. It's National Honesty Day in the United States. That's what he did not say. So I'm debunking these theories and I'm adding the National Honesty Day.
Funny mustache man was killed, and given the fact that Drake is of that faith, people seem to think that something is also here. It doesn't make any sense. Like the funny mustache man, when he died, that was like one of the best things to ever happen for that religion. Quite literally the ending of suffering. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Outside of the date, the time that the record dropped was 8:24 p.m., which is an ode to Kobe Bryant, who wore the numbers 8 and 24.
Euphoria is glorified and made his.
That one does make sense. So we looked at the title, we looked at the date, the time, now let's look at the beat selection. Structurally, the track is broken up into 3 parts with 3 different beats, which is deliberate and very clever, as Kendrick plays off one of his hardest lines from Like That.
First person shooter, I hope they came with 3 switches. I crash out.
I hope they come with 3 switches, and then he comes with 3 switches. Like, that's tough. The first beat is important for me to mention, as Kendrick samples a track from Teddy Pendergrass called You're My Latest, My Greatest Inspiration.
More beautiful than the Mona Lisa.
Now, I've seen some outrageous rumors being spread that Teddy Pendergrass had previous allegations of messing with kids that are not only completely unsubstantiated, but documented absolutely nowhere. While my primary focus is breaking down this record, in doing this, I feel obligated to point out things that are just blatantly untrue. And look, I know Teddy had his fair share of scandals, but to just be pulling this information out of your ass and throwing it up online, especially when it comes to claims like this, like, you should probably stop doing that. However, interestingly enough, Teddy covered a song by Drake's uncle Larry Graham, who is a Hall of Fame inducted musician. Now, you can best believe that this is not a coincidence and there's a deeper meaning behind the use of this sample. I'm just unclear of what that could be. Outside of that, Teddy Pendergrass did get in a car accident which left him paralyzed in a wheelchair, just like the character that Drake played on Degrassi. And Drake's uncle has an accolade that is better than any award or plaque, any of that shit. Like, he's known for inventing the slap technique of the bass. Like, that is crazy, bro. Kendrick starts out the track with a small intro that has an excerpt played in reverse from the 1978 film The Wiz.
Euphoria.
The film reimagines the 1900 novel and 1939 film The Wizard of Oz in the perspective of African Americans. Kendrick uses this to symbolize that what he's about to craft is for the culture, something he believes Drake simply isn't a part of. He really drives this home, as in the context of this movie, Kendrick is comparing Drake to the Wizard, who is played by Richard Pryor. Pryor's Wizard is initially looked at as someone who is feared and respected. He uses technology and trickery to maintain his illusion of power, but is soon discovered to be a fraud. This goes back to Kendrick and removing the costume from Drake's character. The Wizard is exposed when the blanket is pulled back, revealing that he's not powerful at all, and manipulated people into believing that he was.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Everything they say about me is true. I'm a phony. I got no powers. I got no right to be pretending to be the Wizard.
Much like the Wizard, Kendrick looks at Drake as someone who uses industry connections, fame, collaborations, fashion, hairstyle, and even technology like social media to fool people into believing that he is a person of the culture.
Everything they say about me is true.
Okay, before we continue, Because I've been doing a lot of research, especially with the people in the comments when I'm on other reactors pages. And first I want to shout out yes, Lachelle, or the only STMT. That was genius. And Drake asked for it. He said, you better come with some quintuple entendres, things that I can't understand. He said that on Tailor Made, and Kendrick said, okay, you want to see where my mind can go? And he showed him, okay. But this whole situation, like right here, when he said they, he means the culture. And you know, a lot of people were saying, oh no, the I was going to talk about when he did the God's Plan video. So a lot of people in Canada was upset with with Drake, because Drake didn't come back to Canada into the hoods to do his God's Plan video. He did it in Miami. So there was a lot of backlash about that. But of course, we would know here in the US. Okay.
When brought back to its original form, the line is extremely important to the overall theme of this record. Everything they say about me is true, the key word being they. As you'll see later in this record, Kendrick does not present much new information with respect to Drake, mostly reciting pre-existing things that people have already said within the culture, aka things that they said. By not exposing anything new, many people took this as a weakness, but this is quite literally Kendrick's entire strategy with this record. Basically, Kendrick is demonstrating that Drake has been exposed so many times that he doesn't even need to reveal anything new, as he packages all the already existing info and presents it as being more than enough to remove Drake's costume. So it's critical to point out that in the phrase, everything they say about me is true, the term they is representing the culture that is hip-hop. So all that right there is the framework and entire setup of the theme of this record. Literally. Another obvious meaning behind Kendrick's choice of quoting The Wiz is the fact that it is an African-American cult classic, which is likely what Kendrick watched as a child. Whereas someone like Drake, growing up with a white mother, probably only watched the original Wizard of Oz, which had no black actors whatsoever.
Them superpowers get neutralized, I can only watch in silence.
Kendrick starts out the diss claiming that Drake's superpowers have been neutralized while he watches in silence. Circling back to the Kill Bill reference, as I've stated already, superpowers being neutralized alludes to Drake's costume being removed, exposing the fraud beneath it. The line about watching in silence perfectly ties into the quote from The Wiz, where Kendrick is essentially saying that he doesn't even need to speak, all he needs to do is sit back in silence, as Drake's alter ego unravels by itself through everything that they, the culture, says about him. DMX pointed out years ago that Drake was a fraud. Meek Mill exposed Drake for ghostwriters. Pusha T exposed Drake for being in blackface and hiding a child. Joe Budden alluded to underage women claims. Rick Ross painted Drake as a cultural outsider that had plastic surgery. Tupac's estate disapproved of Drake's use of an AI Tupac, and over the years, the culture in itself has added even more into the mix. When it comes to Drake and the culture that is hip-hop, the people within it have already neutralized Drake's superpowers on their own. You'll also notice that everything I just mentioned are all things that Kendrick makes reference to on this track.
The famous actor we once knew is looking paranoid and now spiraling.
So right off rip, in the second line, Kendrick begins to chip away at Drake's hip-hop persona. This line is not just directed at Drake for being an actor on Degrassi, but as an actor within the culture that is hip-hop.
You're moving just like a degenerate. Every antic is feeling distasteful.
This line acts as a double entendre where one, Kendrick refers to Drake as a degenerate, likely due to his internet antics and the way that he moves in general. He seemingly supports this further by labeling Drake's AI diss as a distasteful cheap gimmick, and secondly, he is watching Drake's career degenerate, meaning to downgrade in terms of quality and how it's being perceived.
Why calculate? You're not as calculated. I can even predict your angles.
So first and foremost, Kendrick uses a play on words in a mathematics setting, referencing calculations and angles. Furthermore, he paints Drake as someone who is not as calculated as he might believe, claiming that he can predict his every move, which is exactly what he did. He predicted what Drake was going to do on the Family Matters record.
Fabricating stories on the family front, cause you heard Mr. Morale.
In the first line, Kendrick alludes to Drake seemingly suggesting on push-ups that Kendrick's wife might have been unfaithful. Kendrick addressed his infidelity on his previous project, and he is insinuating that Drake is pulling these claims out of his ass based on that info.
What pathetic master manipulator, I can smell the tails on you now.
Kendrick is basically claiming that Drake is twisting the truth to fit a narrative that the masses will likely run with, and that he can already smell the bullshit coming.
You're not a rap artist, you're a scam artist with the hopes of being accepted.
Following the theme of the record, Kendrick continues to drive home that Drake is simply not the person who he appears to be by claiming that Drake is desperate to be accepted and that he fabricated a persona to make that happen.
Drake claims he wasn't cool in high school.
You know, it was, I just always felt like an outsider. I went...
Tommy Hilfiger stood out, but FUBU never had been your collection.
Kendrick claims that Drake is far more Tommy Hilfiger, a brand that is far more common in a white man's wardrobe. Furthermore, allegations were made years ago that Tommy Hilfiger was racist, not approving of different ethnicities wearing his brand. For the record, this has been proven not to be true, but it was a narrative back in the day. Kendrick claims that Drake never had any FUBU in his collection, which is a masterful line in itself, truly helping to drive home the approach with this record. FUBU is a black-owned company with the slogan, "For Us, By Us," but more importantly, FUBU is very much a hip-hop company.
FUBU, the clothes got mass appeal. They the best that ever did it, I'm just keeping it real.
What Kendrick is really trying to drive home here is that just like FUBU, hip-hop is a culture that is for the people, by the people, and that is something that Drake has no ties to, as he is an outsider. Kendrick could also be referring to a fairly recent picture of Drake wearing FUBU, and I couldn't find any other pictures in existence where he's doing that. Now again, to be fair, which I am, Drake posted a drawing that he did from when he was a kid. It was like a cat or something, and it was wearing a FUBU hat, so he obviously knew about the brand from a young age.
I make music that electrify 'em. You make music that pacify 'em.
Kendrick points out that his music electrifies people. What he means by this is his music requires people to think, as the brain generates electrical activity when it processes thoughts. This diss record in itself is proof of just how layered his music can get. Kendrick creates music about real-world issues in a very poetic way that involves a great deal of comprehension. In the case of Drake, he claims that he makes music that pacifies them. Now, when we look at the definition of pacify, it is to cause someone who is angry or upset to be calm and satisfied. This is very important because Kendrick makes music to unite and empower his people. As we've seen in the past, protesters literally use his lyrics to make a statement. When we look at the subject matter in a lot of Drake's music, he is making the people do the opposite, calming them down by not evoking much thought at all, making them happy and pacifying them. And this line again went over heads. Like, people were thinking that he was calling Drake's music sleepy. Like, that's not what that means. It's way deeper than that.
And don't get it twisted. Drake has done some great things in the past, and we all need a balance. So he is a part of that balance when it comes to just us wanting to get out of our head and all of that. But the number one thing is that culturally, he is appropriating, and he's a industry plant. And the reason being is because he hasn't added any value into the hip hop culture, and especially the direction that the culture is going in with so many different negative things that's happening. He hasn't added any balance to the culture. If he would have added balance to the culture, that would have been a little different probably, but he has no balance whatsoever. If anything, he's 37 now, and he's moving toward the generation of like not even Gen Z anymore. It's like the little 18-year-olds with the sexy red and all that. And that's really weird, but I'll continue.
However, the line also offers up another meaning, feeding into the claims of Drake being involved with younger women, as pacify could be in reference to a pacifier. This is further supported by Kendrick claiming that he could double down on the line, but in this case, he spared him.
I know you're a master manipulator and habitual liar too.
Kendrick then, for the second time, calls Drake a master manipulator, and just like in the Kill Bill reference from earlier, he claims that Drake is a habitual liar.
You are truly and utterly incapable of telling the truth, especially to me.
It's a genius chess move because he gave himself a bit of a safety net, and now we've been hearing the people talk like, oh, Drake's a liar. Kendrick said he was going to lie. That's what he's doing. He then makes reference to his own lyrics from The Heart Part 4.
But don't tell no lie about me, and I won't tell truths about you. Don't tell a lie on me. I won't tell a truth about you.
This is another really clever reference, as many believe that it was on that track where Kendrick took aim at both Big Sean and Drake. The key word being truths, plural. Like, I have more than one thing on you. Kendrick then hits Drake with a nasty beat switch. When I'm driving in the car and like this beat drops, my foot just gets real heavy on the gas. Like I start speeding.
Yeah, I'm out the way, I'm low, okay. Yeah, the island right here is remote, okay.
Kendrick plays into the narrative that Cole and Drake cultivated on their disses, that Kendrick is laying low and not selling as well as he used to. The line is also a reference to Kendrick being low in terms of his height, which is something that Drake continues to play on.
I ain't thinking about no reaper, nigga, I'm reaping what I sow, okay.
So as I said before, there was no way that J. Cole was coming out of this thing unscathed, and Kendrick proves this to be correct as he has some more bars for Cole here. I don't think any of us could forget J. Cole's verse on Johnny P's Caddy.
Nigga want me on the song, he gon' see the wrath of the reaper.
It was in this verse where J. Cole really started to reshape the narrative of who was the best, and Kendrick takes the chance to flip one of Cole's hardest lines to make it clear that J. Cole is not the Reaper, and unlike Cole, who apologized, Kendrick was going to follow through in his beef, reaping what he sowed. I said this 2 months ago. I thought that J. Cole was taking shots at Kendrick on Johnny P's Caddy. I do think he is talking to...
Johnny P's Caddy is a dope song, but yes, it has always been... They say that they're this, the big three, but they all been taking shots at each other for years. Because it's only one person that can hold the crown. Seriously. You know what I'm saying?
Someone, and that someone, I feel like, is Kendrick Lamar. And Kendrick thought the same thing. I mean, there's a reason why he's referencing that record in particular.
I got a Benjamin and a Jackson all in my house like I'm Joe, okay.
So Kendrick really starts to put his pen on display. He makes reference to Benjamins and Jacksons, alluding to how he has plenty of money. This is likely a rebuttal to Drake's claims on push-ups regarding Kendrick's contract splits. However, the line is also in reference to Joe Jackson, who is Michael Jackson's father, and it's interesting to note that Michael Jackson also had a pet rat named Ben. Michael Jackson was weird from the jump. In this beef, the Michael Jackson and Prince thing just gets flipped and rebutted over and over again, and in this case, he's either calling Drake a rat, or someone in his team a rat, or both.
Hellcat, met his homeboys in them types LA solo, okay.
There are multiple layers to this line alone. Kendrick brings up the Hellcat, which is a sports car trim for Dodge, but also by definition, a Hellcat is a spiteful, violent woman. Kendrick cleverly plays with the word hell, making it seem that Drake and his associates all sold their soul while simultaneously calling Drake a bitch. But in the next line, there's even more layers.
Everybody wanna be demon till they get chipped by your throwaway.
Kendrick continues the clever wordplay with his usage of the word demon, as the demon is a trim level above the Hellcat for Dodge cars. The use of the word chipped refers to the demon being chipped out so that it has specific programming tailored to its performance. Kendrick also uses the word demon as a play on Future's middle name, Demon, and references one of Future's tracks, Throwaway.
Gone for the nigga, get it over with. Gone for the nigga, get it over with.
Go and pet that puppy, get it over with. I always change the lyrics and sing that song to my dog. And being chipped by a throwaway is also a reference to being taken out by a gun, as when you commit a crime with a pistol, you throw away the piece to eliminate any evidence. Furthermore, being chipped by a throwaway is also in reference to Kendrick's track Like That, which is what sparked this entire thing. And what's even more nuts is that the Like That track was Future's record, the guy that he already referenced within the line. Kendrick is essentially saying that the verse that shook the world was a throwaway verse, it was effortless, and it was nothing for him to do. However, while on the topic of Future and throwaways, a throwaway is also a woman that you just hit and toss to the side, and as we all know, Future accused Drake of pillow talking, so it's very possible that the woman that Drake trusted to share secrets with was one of Future's throwaways, so therefore, he got chipped by a throwaway. But the line is even crazier than that. I need you guys to remember Drake's recent track with J. Cole called Evil Ways, as it was on that track where Cole had subliminals for Kendrick.
I stay out of beef, see niggas DNA get rearranged.
And to make this even more obvious, it's on that exact same track where J. Cole claims that he is going through his demon phase.
Young angel going through his demon phase.
So when Kendrick says everybody want to be a demon until they get chipped by a throwaway, that's a bullet for both Drake and J. Cole. In the case of Drake, he ended off his push-ups track by claiming not to wake the demon up.
This ain't even everything I know, don't wake the demon up.
In the case of J. Cole, he claimed to be in his demon phase, but quite literally got chipped by a throwaway when he got entirely bent at his shape and apologized for his diss that Kendrick didn't even open his mouth for, and then proceeded to delete it. J. Cole's diss was a throwaway. He fucking deleted it. Everyone clowned him for it. You got chipped by a throwaway.
Everybody wanna be demon till they get chipped by your throwaway.
This is extremely high level writing. Like, that line is fucking nuts.
And I might do a show a day. Once a lame, always a lame.
In the first line, Kendrick claims that he might do a show a day, possibly referencing J. Cole's diss when he said this.
And he's still doing shows, but fell off like The Simpsons.
The Simpsons has 765 episodes, and still to this day, TV channels are playing their episodes daily. Kendrick is claiming that...
Listen, The Simpsons and the Boondocks will forever be top rated. So that line sucked, but I love J. Cole. And also, a lot of us that was trying to break down bars got it wrong because we did not understand that he still had to make sure Cole got it too because of that song. You know what I'm saying? Cole, he still had to give it to Cole.
Like The Simpsons, he could also do a show every single day and likely even sell it out. So I'm hoping you guys can see the theme now in verse 1, where these last chunk of lines weren't just directed at Drake, but J. Cole as well.
Oh, you thought the money, the power of fame will make you go away.
The next sequence of lines is directed at Drake, claiming that Drake has always been a loser, and even after all the money, power, and fame, he's still the same person. The line is also a callback to his verse on Like That, where instead of the word fame, he uses the word respect.
BOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better.
Kendrick deliberately changes the words to reference Drake's confusion of thinking that fame amounts to respect, when in fact they are two different things.
Have you ever played? Have you ever? Okay, nigga, let's play.
Kendrick then goes into a game of Have You Ever, but I also see this approach as Kendrick framing the questions somewhat like a therapy session.
Have you ever watched your enemy down like with a poker face?
Kendrick's reason for doing this is to highlight the cultural...
I can't help it. He said, have you ever walked your enemy down with a poker face? That's so gangster.
differences between them. Imagine Drake and Kendrick are playing a game of Have You Ever, where the questions are all about things Kendrick witnessed or was directly involved with growing up. Drake probably wouldn't have much to say because he can't relate to Kendrick's experiences.
Have you ever paid $500,000 like to an open case?
In the second line, he alludes to Drake having to pay $500,000 to a woman that accused him of sexual assault. And I know the article says $350K, but when you transfer that into our shitty Canadian dollar, is pretty close.
I hate when I rap or talk about guns, then somebody die, they turn into none.
Again, there are a lot of cultural references layered within this track, and Kendrick's approach to lines like this one is to point out the stark differences between himself and Drake. Kendrick has spoken on gun violence in his music before, and does it in a way that is very tactful, pushing to influence change. When we look at an artist like Drake, while he does have some lines that speak on gun violence in a way that could be helpful, he has far more gun-related bars that do the opposite. Then when we look at some of the alleged crimes that are connected to Drake and his inner circle, which could be a whole other video in itself, Kendrick is essentially painting Drake as someone that really doesn't care to make any strides towards change, and that when he does speak up, it's more of a PR move.
Then I hop online like pray for my city, he faking for likes and digital hugs.
Passed down by elders, people don't even know about the logistics of the beef or.
Everybody got a stick, we don't run fast.
And look, guys, like there is a theory out there.
Now, this is the guy who got peed on. Now, that line that K-Dot, when he said about being pissed on the leg, that really happened. That was T.I. Boy who did Drake like that.
That's claiming these lines are directed at Jay Prince and the death of Takeoff, and that's pretty heavy shit. You guys already know I don't do that type of content on the channel. I just kind of keep it to the music.
His daddy a killer, he wanna be Junior, they must have forgot the shit that they done.
Alright, so this line is fucking insane, and everyone missed some key references. First off, this is a shot towards Drake's actual father, Dennis. Unlike his brother Larry Jr., who had a very successful music career, Drake's dad's career was far more lackluster. So when Kendrick says that he wanted to be like Junior, it's obvious that Dennis wanted a career that was as successful as his older brother, but that just didn't happen. To add the cherry on top, Drake's grandfather, who went by Larry Sr., was also a musician, so Larry Jr. quite literally took the reins and not Dennis. Then when we look at the fact that Drake's dad has literally tried to ignite his own career by piggybacking off Drake's success, it makes even more sense. Even on his official website, the promotions are not even tagged as Dennis Graham, but as Drake's dad. You gotta hit the like button for that one. Come on.
Okay, so this was one, but this was a triple entendre because he was talking about Drake's father, so his beginning roots, but he also was talking about Jay Prince and Jay Prince Jr., because remember, Jay Prince Jr. was the person that actually got brought Drake into the fold, and then he was talking about Wayne, Weezy, and Birdman. So like he had three of them, three different ones. So I'm just bringing that to light because there are some things that he's discussing. He's discussing the ones that people didn't really catch, and I'm discussing the ones that were caught.
The next reference was also missed by pretty much everyone, and given the fact that I watched The Sopranos in full at least 10 times,
Nobody caught this. Now watch this. This was crazy.
Got this one right away. Now you're gonna listen to me, Christopher. This is a fucking business. Sorry, that's just my favorite show. In The Sopranos, just like his father before him, Tony wanted to be the boss and overtake his Uncle Junior's place. The line about forgetting shit that they say is a reference to Uncle Junior, who constantly begins to forget everything and eventually develops dementia, which is something that Kendrick mentions in the very next line. Drop a comment for me, come on. Thirdly, Kendrick refers to Birdman as Drake's dad, as he was signed under him for Cash Money, and Birdman does have a slew of allegations with respect to being a killer. There's quite a few of Cash Money artists who have just mysteriously been murdered. So in the Birdman scenario, the reference to Junior is with respect to Lil Wayne, who once literally called Birdman his dad, and of course Drake took a lot of influence from Wayne, more or less aspiring to be just like him. But there's even more to it than that, that's not it. The last reference is to Texas hip-hop legend Jay Prince, someone that Drake considers his mob ties, and in this context, Junior refers to his son, Jay Prince Jr. The line is fucking nuts. Like, it's 16 words that give you 4 deep meanings that are all very relevant. It's a crazy line.
The very first time I shot me a Drake, the homie had told me to aim it this way.
This line is one of the more surface level bars. Kendrick is referring to shooting a Draco, which is a gun, but also sounds like Drake's name, like he's shooting Drake.
I didn't point down enough. Today I show you I learned from those mistakes.
Lastly, he claims that he needs to aim the gun down, which is in reference to Drake being beneath him.
Somebody had told me that you got a ring. On God, I'm ready to double the wage.
Drake purchased Tupac's custom diamond ring at an auction for over $1 million. Now, Kendrick, being from the West Coast and a huge fan of Pac, claims he's willing to buy it back from Drake for double the price, just so it's not in his possession.
I'd rather do that than let a Canadian nigga make Pac turn in his grave.
And it's very possible that Drake bought that ring just to be petty. Very possible. It is a pretty clever line because by saying that Pac would turn in his grave over the ring, Kendrick is also insinuating that Pac would have been pissed and would have never approved of Drake's AI gimmick.
Cut the finish, you got shit twisted. What is it, the brakes?
So again, more cultural references here as Kendrick continues to chip away at Drake, pegging him as an outsider in the culture. Kendrick asked Drake if he has shit twisted, alluding to Drake's new hairstyle, which is indeed braided. He confirms this even more with the next line when he says, "What is it, the braids?" Something that I've grown to accept over the years is the fact that I'm never going to have braids, you know? And now, tough pill to swallow, but I feel like Drake's braids are just too tight. But he's not just talking about Drake's hairstyle, but his own. Kendrick has been known to rock braids himself and uses this as a reference and cultural construct to highlight just how rooted he is to the culture. Braids are an integral part of Black and African culture. The tradition has been passed down through generations to celebrate and honor one's ancestral roots. And most of you guys know this stuff already, but trust me, there are people watching this that don't know. Like, they don't know that at one point, people were losing their jobs left, right, and center for just natural black hair. So, and it still happens today. I've seen lawsuits in recent years of it still happening, unfortunately. It was in the 1960s where braids and natural hair became a huge thing during the Black Power movement. It was quite literally used as a statement and as an expression against white supremacy and anti-blackness. So in the case of Drake, as it pertains to this line, Kendrick is painting him as being jealous and envious of what he represents culturally. The braids are only used to reference Kendrick's own identity and his deep-seated roots to African American culture, something that Drake wishes he had and attempts to emulate. He continues to drive this home by claiming that Drake doesn't want to work with him anymore, and it all ties perfectly into the overall theme of this record to further support Drake's longing for acceptance but never fully getting it.
What is it, the brakes? I hurt your feelings, you don't work with me no more, okay.
Everyone that I've seen cover this, like, this went over their heads. They were claiming that this line was about Drake's braids only, but it's a far deeper cultural reference than that. Like, he's referring to himself in the context of African American culture and what that represents. And again, he's removing the mask from Drake. Like, the braids for Drake is part of the costume. Lastly, the line is most definitely in reference to Kendrick's Control verse, where Drake claimed that he didn't want to work with Kendrick after the diss drop.
Okay, let me go ahead and add something because I just thought about it. You guys watched that Tupac video that I showed, and this whole situation is with K-Dot and with Drake's battle and beef. It has nothing to do with Drake being biracial. I do want people to understand that. That's Rick Ross beef. Kendrick situation is cultural. Just like Not Like Us, Not Like United States. Everything he's talking about is cultural because Drake lost his identity. Just like Eminem and Mac Miller, rest in peace, and different people like that, they kept true to who they were. Beastie Boys, it's been a couple of rappers that have been Caucasian that have been dope and accepted. But that's because they stayed true to who they were as a person. They weren't trying to pretend. So that is what the problem is. And he has been able to, he pretty much has been able to capitalize off of it for so long. And keep in mind, he is Jewish, which is the Jews run the music industry. So that's even a plus for him. So all of these things pretty much coincide, he's a machine now. And he's been able to get away with a lot. And unfortunately, K-Dot has been seeing this, and it's like, okay, I can't even hold this any longer. I need to go ahead and show who this person is behind the scenes in this industry for over a certain period of years, because he has been fooling the masses. That's what this is all about.
Does it make you like not want to collab with him?
Yeah, I'm good right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just about this album and me, and, I don't know necessarily if I feel like 100%, like, I'm not like, man, send me some, let's work. Like, nah, not really. You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's 3 ghosts left, and I see 2 of them kissing and hugging on stage.
Again, J. Cole catches some bullets along with Drake. Kendrick makes reference to the Big 3 first-person shooter and Drake and J. Cole's tour that they did, where they literally hugged on stage. And he's also talking about how they act when they bring each other on stage, like as a guest, where J. Cole will be like, Drizzy Drake is in the building, way better than me. This guy's way better than me. And then Drake will be like, I got the GOAT in the building, J. Cole, his pen I can't fuck with, way better than me. And like Kendrick's just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not on that type of time. I don't know what these guys are doing.
I love him to death, and in 8 bars I'll explain that phrase.
I really like this line. He claims to love Drake and J. Cole to death, but then proceeds to tell them that he's going to elaborate more on that in the next 8 bars.
Nobody can tell me. I don't want to talk on no celly.
Personally, with this one, I believe he is talking directly to J. Cole, who felt extremely bad about his diss and very likely tried to make contact with Kendrick to try to smooth things over. I mean, Kendrick is in war mode. Like, he's not trying to hear all that right now. He's in a different space, but I think they will end up coming together in the near future, and we're finally going to get some music from these guys together.
You know I got language barriers. There's no accent you can sell me.
At this point, we have literally heard multiple accents from Drake. There's the UK Drake.
Just like that one time at Cello, a good thing, man, we're pulling out phones.
The You Ain't Jamaican, Use Jafakin Drake.
And more tune for your head top, so watch how you speak on my name, you know?
Thing set, the thing dead end, trust me, headshot them bomba.
Then there's the Toronto accent Drake.
You guys make me sick to my stomachs, fam.
This didn't exist before we were here. Look around at the square, I promise you right now.
Then we got the Caucasian Drake.
Just one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. Scrabble champion.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's a top shelf lady.
The Ku Klux Klan Drake.
Yo, that's that nigger, you know what I'm saying? He's
The New York Drake.
I try and show out with none of the study. I don't really do what other people do, like, or true religion. I don't really do that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But
look, if you're confused, don't worry, because so am I, but here's how he actually talks right here.
Ash, forget it. Look, can we just break up and get this over with?
And people are going to say that I'm hating on Drake. I'm not hating on Drake. I'm a massive fan of Drake, but you can't deny that these things exist. Like, this is what Kendrick's talking about, is it not? It was Joe Budden that actually said the exact same thing in one of his disses to War.
Okay, so after he showed this Joe Budden part, because remember, Joe was battling him before. Now peep all the lines from Joe Budden, and then I'm going to stop it and I'm going to talk about that.
George Drake.
Say Canadian, maybe Asian, Croatian, be sounding like it's Jamaican friends, depending on what state he in.
And look, if we're going to talk about writing and punchlines and quotables and personals, like this diss track from Joe was one of the best Drake disses that we've seen.
You're Cole and Aubrey, no, I'm a selfish nigga, the crown is heavy.
So again, notice he calls him Aubrey. That is the theme. That's who he's talking to on the record, not Drake. Coming off the Like That track, Kendrick made it clear that he doesn't care about the Big 3 and that he's down to ride solo with the Crown. Now, the Crown, to be specific, has been something that all 3 of these guys have referenced in their music at one point or another. in the case of J. Cole.
Aiming at a couple heads, bitch, I'm crown hunting.
At the top playing keep away with the crown.
And no different for Drake.
Take my crown to the grave, I'm an underground king.
They never told me when you get the crown, it's gonna take some getting used to.
And it was in this line where Kendrick even quoted himself talking about the crown.
Heavy is the head that chose to wear the crown.
However, this moment in this era will act as the deciding factor on whose head the crown belongs on, and Kendrick seems to understand the mission, as there's no friends when it comes to his end goal. He really drives this home with the YNW Melly reference, where Melly was accused of murdering his own friend.
I pray they my real friends, if not, I'm YNW Melly.
What's also interesting to note is that YNW Melly took to Instagram a month ago to make claims that he felt Kendrick took shots at him on the Like That record.
Crash out like fuck rap, this Melly Mel if I had to.
I don't see the connection. Like, to me, this line is clearly about Melly Mel, but he does mention his name on this record.
I don't like you popping shit at Pharrell. For him, I inherit the beef. Yeah, fuck all that pushing P. Let me see you push a T.
Drake sent subliminal shots at Pharrell in 2023 on Travis Scott's Meltdown. Now, I'm not going to break down his shots towards Pharrell in this video because that will be off topic, but I do believe the true reason for the tension is because of Pharrell's production work on Pusha T's last album. So Pusha's last album had 12 tracks on it, and 8 of them were produced by Pharrell, and it's one of my favorite albums of the last 4 or 5 years. Amazing album. Kendrick claims that he's got no issue inheriting the beef on Pharrell's behalf, telling Drake to stop pushing P, meaning leave Pharrell alone. The phrase is also, of course, something that was popularized by Gunna through his hit record, Pushin' P.
I'm Push P.
However, the line holds even more depth as Drake referenced the phrase in a song himself.
Steady pushing P, niggas pushing PTSD.
To explain a little better, the phrase pushing P basically means keeping a player, acting with integrity whilst staying successful. In this scenario, Kendrick tells Drake to forget about the integrity and hits Drake in a sore spot by bringing up his infamous loss to Pusha T. Drake allegedly had a career-ending red button diss for Pusha, to which Jay Prince shut down as he said Drake was taking it too far.
You know, my reasons for pulling the plug and having that conversation with him simply because it crossed the line of music.
So in the case of his beef with Pusha, Drake more or less took the high road, maintaining integrity, which is technically pushing P. However, I also feel the words, "let me see you push a T," has a couple meanings. One, he's clowning Drake regarding his loss to Pusha and egging him on to clear up unfinished business. And two, he's asking Drake to push the red button on that track that he held back because of Jay Prince. Drake's been talking about his red button for a while. I don't think he has one for Kendrick, but I think he's got something for Kanye and Pusha.
You better off spinning again on him. You think about pushing me. He's Terrence Thornton, I'm Terrence Crawford. Yeah, I'm whooping feet.
Again, Kendrick brings up Drake's unfinished business with Pusha T, alluding to the L that he took. He then uses Pusha's real name, Terrence Thornton, and while he does clearly acknowledge that Pusha is dope, he claims that he's a far more deadly competitor, calling himself Terrence Crawford, who is an undefeated boxer. I found it pretty funny because in that clip of him training, Drake's music is playing in the background.
We ain't gotta get personal. This a friendly fade. You should keep it that way.
Just so y'all know, in Cali terms, whooping feet mean beating you until you out of your shoes. So whooping you until whooping you out of your shoes.
Wait, I know some shit about niggas that make Gunna wanna look like a saint.
Kendrick begins to warn Drake and recommend that he should keep this battle light, but then he uses Gunna's reputation as a snitch to imply that Drake is an even bigger rat.
This ain't been about critics, not about gimmicks, not about who the greatest is. It's always been about love and hate. Now let me say I'm the biggest hater.
Kendrick claims that at this point, this thing is not even about who's the greatest. It's about his hatred for Drake, which is exactly what I said 5 months ago, before any of this was even close to what we're seeing now. I've said it multiple times on this channel. Like, he just does not like Drake. Kendrick then goes into an all-out hate Drake rant.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
So again, as I mentioned before, the theme of this record for Kendrick is to bring up things that other people in the culture have said, and in this case, he's referencing DMX's thoughts about Drake.
Why don't you like Drake?
I don't like anything about Drake.
Mom,
I don't like his fucking voice. I don't like what he talks about. I don't.
I be trying to tell these face.
I don't like the way he walks. Like nothing. I don't like his haircut.
I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, it's gonna be direct.
At first, this line confused me because Kendrick is known to sneak diss himself, but the more I thought about it, he says he hates the way that Drake sneak disses. When it comes to Kendrick and sending shots, his subliminals are usually caught by everyone right away, as he makes it pretty obvious who he's talking to. However, in the case of Drake, he goes about it in an entirely different way, where he sneak disses people to the point where only his intended target picks up on it. Kendrick likely despises this approach because it limits being able to respond to where the people would even understand where it originated from.
We hate the bitches you fuck cause they confuse themselves with real women.
Kendrick then takes a shot at Drake for the women that he sleeps with. This could be in reference to him being involved with younger females, or the fact that Drake likely sleeps with the fakest, dumbest, self-absorbed women imaginable.
And then notice I said we, it's not just me, I'm what the culture feeling.
Very ruthless and direct line from Kendrick, just like the line from The Wiz, everything they say about me is true, and just like the Kill Bill theory, Kendrick is dishing out what he feels to be undisputed truths.
I call it the undisputed truth.
Now, when he says, I'm what the culture feeling, it has two meanings where one, the culture agrees with what he's saying on this record, and two, the culture is literally feeling Kendrick as they have embraced him as the face to carry the genre.
How many more fairy tale stories about your life till we had enough? How many more black features till you finally feel that you're black enough?
Kendrick starts to lay it on heavy and begins to deconstruct Drake's character. He references fairy tales about his life, which is most definitely regarding the subject matter of Drake's music over the years, where he tends to personify a tough guy act. He then questions Drake on how many black features does he need, which has a great deal of depth culturally. If we look at black art throughout history, the white man has been guilty of profiting, stealing, and claiming things as their own. Not only is Kendrick claiming that Drake hops from wave to gain notoriety, he's strategically lumping him in with what is commonly done by outsiders and executives who use people in the culture for their own benefit. On one of Joe Budden's disses to Drake, he broke this down really well.
You leverage your
Okay, this is what I was talking about. So it wasn't the beginning one, it was this one. So peep this.
Taking waves over, that's territorial takeover.
So right away, this is exactly what Kendrick's talking about.
Maybe you think nobody notices. Gucci wasn't home 2 seconds before you wrote his dick.
Gucci gets out of jail, Drake does a feature right away.
Body Versace flows, copy that he stole. Adios, mio, sorry, amigos, adios, amigos.
He hops on the Versace beat, copies that Migos flow, and then he doesn't work with the Migos till years later.
Was that your plot all along? Why you ain't do that vid with Fetty, but you hopped in a song? No.
So he did the song with Fetty, didn't do the video, and then he just ghosted him.
Sound like a zombie on a track. Who started from the bottom, it was zombie on the track. Know who else started from the bottom, zombie on the track. How come after that joint I don't see zombie on the track?
So Mike Zombie is a producer that made the Start It From the Bottom beat, but after that track, Drake never worked with him again. He wasn't a well-known producer, and from what I can remember, Drake got the beat for an extremely cheap price. It's a story as old as time. Like, a lot of people have taken interest in black art, but then they take very little interest in the well-beings of the people who are making the art. And Joe made 4 different diss tracks towards Drake, and when all this beef cools down, I'm going to be breaking down those records because Joe was an amazing writer, and he deserves to have that highlighted.
Okay. So, and shout out to my boy Omar. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You know, I know that you be meditating and chilling and don't be wanting to hear all this, but this is more of something that I think you'll like because it's more of the bar breakdown. All right. So with this and what I was going to share with you guys about the Joe Budden situation when Joe Budden was battling Drake. He was the one that was able to shine the light about Drake actually getting features from Black artists and then tossing them and never working with them again. One thing that he just said was like the Migos, he took the flow, boom. And like the producer that did Started from the Bottom, the guy pretty much undercut himself because that song was dope. So he didn't charge Drake much. And Drake didn't get him hot. He didn't say, oh, you know what? I'm going to turn you on to some other artists so you can get this money, because he wanted to stay. He wanted to be the man, and he wanted his beats to be different from everybody else's. It's kind of like when you go to when you go buy something and somebody asks you, where'd you get this from? And you don't want to tell them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what he did with this producer. So now the producer never really became successful. So peep that, because and then with the Fetty Wap, I remember that situation where he jumped on Fetty Wap's song, but he wouldn't do the video with him. Just like these different things like that, you know? And so this has been brewing behind the scenes with a lot of the different artists that's in the back. So now it just bubbled up. So that's what this is right here.
And the reason why Drake didn't respond to Joe is not because he wasn't worthy of a response. It was because he knew not to. He knew it was a bad idea.
You gonna make a nigga bring back Puff. Let me see if Chubbs really crashed something. Yeah, my first one like my last one. It's a classic. You don't have one.
Kendrick brings it back to when P. Diddy allegedly punched Drake in the face and claims he's about to do the same. He then mentions Drake's longtime friend and bodyguard Chubbs, who was likely with Drake the night that Diddy punched him, and because it was Diddy, he probably didn't do shit about it. Kendrick then gets into the debate about classic albums, claiming that his first album and his last album were both classics. It's in this line where he cleverly snipes both Cole and Drake at the same time, as they both criticize Kendrick's catalog as of late.
Your first shit was classic, your last shit was tragic.
Your last one brick, you really not on shit.
Kendrick claims that both Drake and J. Cole have no classic albums, and because this is entirely subjective, I do agree that Good Kid, Mad City and Mr. Morale are both classics. A lot of people didn't like Mr. Morale, but I think it will prove to age as a body of work that will be appreciated with more time. And that's just my opinion. I mean, like, all these albums are going to connect with people differently.
Let your core audience stomach that. Didn't tell them where you get your abs from.
Kendrick uses a play on words to reference Drake allegedly getting work done to sculpt his abs. Kendrick uses this wordplay to symbolize that Drake's core audience is not that of actual hip-hop fans, and of course, just like his stomach, he's a fake person with fake music. And I know people are saying, like, what's the big deal? He got work done. I agree. I don't think it's a big deal, but in the context of hip-hop, it's just not something we've ever seen done before or be exposed. Like, it's not a hip-hop type of thing to do.
V12 is a fast one. Bow, bow, bow. Last one.
Coming off the last line, Kendrick references a plastic surgery machine called the V12, and of course, it's obviously a reference to an engine found in sports cars.
Headshot for the year. You better walk around like Daft Punk.
Just think about it. Not like us. #1 on the charts right now. Not going anywhere. Headshot for a fucking year. That record was already done at this point. Waiting and ready. Kendrick tells Drake that he's coming with a headshot that will leave him so embarrassed that he will be ashamed to be seen in public. He does this by making a reference to Daft Punk as they wear a masked helmet which completely conceals their identity. It's also important to note that Drake sampled Daft Punk on one of his recent hits.
One more time, you gotta run the face.
On to verse 2.
Remember?
Kendrick starts off by reciting Drake's track Worst Behavior, where the premise of that entire song is Drake highlighting how he was never embraced, how people counted him out, and he's basically reminding those people of who he is today.
Never loved us. Remember?
The record is basically an in-your-face moment for Drake. Like, remember me? Remember how you treated me? Now look at me. It's a very clever callback from Kendrick as it highlights what he's been saying on this track. Drake was looked at as an outsider, but when artists realized that he could be used as a means of pushing their careers further, like getting a Drake feature, they started to embrace him.
Hey, top dog, who the fuck they think they playing with? Extortion my middle name as soon as you jump off of that plane, bitch.
Just like every good diss track, Kendrick is rebuttaling Drake's narratives from push-ups. One of the main components of that diss, right down to the hook and the title, was directly tied to Kendrick allegedly being extorted by TDE.
I'm allergic to the lame shit, only you like being famous. Yachty can't give you no swag neither. I don't give a fuck about who you're hanging with.
When we really sit back and think about this thing, Kendrick and Drake couldn't be more different. These guys are literally polar opposites, not just in music that they make, but in the way that they move, the way that they live, the things that are important to them, their values, their moral compass. They are just two completely different people. It's pretty clear that Kendrick doesn't value fame. He's not on social media. He's very quiet, reserved. He's not flashy. The line about Lil Yachty is in reference to Drake's friendship with him. Drake is excellent at remaining tapped into what the youth are doing, and people like Yachty act as a vessel to do.
You walk the way that you talk, I hate the way that you dress.
Coming back to the Kill Bill theory, the way that Drake walks, talks, and dresses are all aspects that are tied to his costume. Kendrick hates these things not because of what they represent, but because it's not authentic to Drake's true identity.
She wanted that feature request. You know that we got some shit to address.
This line didn't surprise me in the slightest. I truly believe that Drake has made attempts to make amends with Kendrick over the years and likely wanted to get back in his good graces. While we know Drake is competitive, I believe he wanted to make Kendrick an asset rather than an enemy. However, because of the differences in these two people, Kendrick probably realized pretty quickly that Drake wasn't someone that he cared to get along with. Drake and Kendrick have been exchanging subliminals for the better part of a decade, and while Drake maybe viewed this as friendly sparring, Kendrick has proven to be someone that values the crown in a different way. Fuck the big three, it's just big me.
I even hate when you say the word nigga, but that's just me, I guess. Some shit just cringeworthy, ain't even gotta be deep, I guess.
So another line with an extreme amount of depth culturally. You need to think about how and where Kendrick grew up. Kendrick is from Compton, Section 8 projects to be specific. His family has direct ties to gang culture. He was 5 years old when his city was tipped.
Matter of fact, his dad was a disciple in Chicago. They moved to Cali. They moved in the Compton, Piru territory, but his family, his uncles, were on another side and they were Crips. So can you imagine?
Upside down during the Rodney King riots. When you think about the use of the N-word and the history of how it became a thing in African American culture, what he's saying makes even more sense. America has deep ties to slavery, literally in the millions. In the case of Drake, he grew up in Canada, a place that does not have a history of black slavery. In fact, Canada only has 4,000 documented slaves. Then when we look at how Drake grew up, being raised in an affluent white neighborhood, going to very good schools, it's 100% clear that the N-word wasn't something that he heard being used. He didn't hear it from his mother's family. He didn't hear it from his
Oh, he heard it being used. It was just with the E and the R.
friends. He didn't hear it at school. It just wasn't intertwined with his upbringing. Basically, there came a day in Drake's music career where he decided that he was going to start using the word. It isn't a natural thing for him, and it never was. Kendrick looks at Drake's use of the N-word just like the other aspects that make up his costume. This is not even up for debate. Like, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to tell you that that word clearly doesn't fit into the way that Drake speaks naturally. And I saw that a lot of people tried to pigeonhole Kendrick on this record as being racist, but that's not what any of this actually means. Kendrick is not trying to disregard that Drake is half black. He's just pointing out the elephant in the room.
Matter of fact, I ain't even bleed him yet. Can I bleed him? When I see you stand by sexy red, I believe you see two bad bitches.
He starts by adding some humor into the mix, poking fun at Drake's relationship with Sexy Red, where Kendrick essentially correlates Drake's energy with that of a female and not a man's.
I believe you don't like women. It's real competition. You might pop ass with them.
Kendrick then continues with the humor from the previous line. Sexy Red, along with their fan base, are known for twerking, and he says that Drake should join in on the fun. This could also be in reference to the nickname coined for Drake by Rick Ross, BBL Drizzy.
I just want to highlight this real quick because this is absolutely true. Shout out to Omar for this, and he said, I admit I was absolutely a fan of his first CD after the Ross and Drake hit his music went from heartfelt to cocky. And that was one of the things, because I don't remember if he is going to shine light on that. But if you go to my Heavy is the Crown reaction video, and shout out to all of my Flintstones that was in that with me, my Flintstone friends that helped me with that. One of the things that Drake said was when he first got into business, Lil Wayne told him to continuously be yourself, be that guy who smiled, that guy who talks about family and women, you know, don't steer from that. And he wind up doing the opposite of what the advice that Lil Wayne gave him. You know, he decided not to take Lil Wayne's advice once he got to a certain level of fame. So I really feel like that's where he really started venturing off too, because you're right, he got extremely cocky, and now everything that he makes is very negative, like, you know, partnering with all of these low vibrational artists. I'm just gonna keep that 100. As a 37-year-old man doesn't make him look good, because it doesn't show any elevation, you know. And that's what we're supposed to do in hip hop, and as in people, we're supposed to evolve mentally, you know. So, okay, we'll continue.
Kendrick also seems to insinuate that Drake could be gay, alluding to how Sexy Red is his real competition when it comes to male attention. He also alludes to Sexy Red as being another form of competition when it comes to the actual music. However, the line also has a more serious tone, as Kendrick could be alluding to the fact that Drake doesn't like women because he likes younger girls. I mean, at this point, it's been Kendrick's main angle that he's been playing for most of his records, right?
Let's speak on percentage. Show me your splits. I'll make sure I double back with you.
Kendrick continues to chip away at Drake's narrative from push-ups, rebuttaling Drake's lines regarding contract splits, and Kendrick seems fairly confident that his circumstance is still better than Drake's.
You assigned to a nigga that signed to a nigga that said he was signed to that nigga.
Again, all part of his strategy on this track. Kendrick is pulling previous information from others, and in this case, it is Pusha T's reference from Exodus 23:1.
You signed to one nigga that signed to another nigga that signed to three niggas. Now that's bad luck.
Because Drake criticized Kendrick regarding his contract splits, he ultimately opened himself up entirely to being rebutted with a situation that could possibly be even worse.
Try cease and desist on a Like That record? Oh, what, you ain't like that record?
Kendrick alleges that Drake tried to strike down the Like That record, which is an allegation that seemingly might be true, as we have seen leaked emails surface that potentially confirm it. Now, there could very well be some truth to it, but anyone can make one of those.
Okay, it is truth to this. He sent a cease and desist to for the Like That record. They're trying to say it was actually the one that Kanye was on, so it was the remix and not the one that Kendrick was on. But he also, the information that he has is about the radio stations, because Drake was trying to reach out to the radio stations or his people to try to make sure that Kendrick didn't get any radio airplay during this time of the battle. And Kendrick people had put in the comments that it's okay because the culture is streaming him and he's #1 in the streams. And before we continue, because like there are some bars that he broke down a lot of bars that a lot of people didn't get, but here's some bars that he didn't discuss. One is, okay, we discussed the situation with the splits or whatever, where Drake was trying to say that that Kendrick is getting extorted, but honestly Kendrick is not getting extorted, and Kendrick has his own label, so there's a lot of control that Kendrick has that unfortunately Drake doesn't have. And those bars that Drake said he never should have said, because of the fact that it's showing now, after all of this situation, it's showing who has the control. Kendrick was able to release his copyrights for all of us YouTubers to be able to play his music, eat off of it. You know, pretty much we're not going to get striked because of us, you know, like playing his music. He was able to do that. Drake is not able to do that because he is owned by the Universal Music Group. And then they also are trying to get Kendrick to apologize to, you know, because they don't want to lose all these different deals and they just gave Drake $400 million. And now a lot of these different deals like Nike and all of them are questioning his integrity and character because so much stuff is coming out. So who has the control? Okay. Just wanted to say that, and I'm gonna get to these comments after this. We almost at the end of this, at the end of these bars.
Emails. I can make one of those emails that looks just like that in 5 minutes.
Back to back, I like that record. I'm gonna get back to that for the record.
Kendrick claims that he likes Drake's record against Meek Mill back to back and proceeds to dish out a double entendre. Firstly, Kendrick announces on his track that he's going back to back on Drake, which proved to be true, as that's exactly what he did on the upcoming diss tracks. Secondly, notice how he uses the words "for the record." He uses this to point out that he already took a loss against Pusha T, but he's about to add another L to his record, receiving back-to-back losses.
Why would I call around trying to get dirt on niggas? Y'all thinking my life is rap? That's whole shit. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that.
Kendrick alleges that Drake and OVO have been offering money for information to use against Kendrick in a diss track. Previously, Pusha T publicly stated that OVO was offering $100,000 in search of information for Drake to use in their beef. He then points out that he has kids to raise, and unlike Drake, that's his priority. However, this line has an even deeper meaning, as Drake's father was absent for a large chunk of his upbringing.
Since my dad used to tell me he would come into the house to get me, he ain't show.
So when Kendrick says you don't know nothing about that, he's saying that Drake could not know much about fatherhood because he never experienced it himself. And this has been something that's been brought up in Drake's music a lot. So he's hitting them in a sore spot with this.
Waking them up, know nothing about that. Then tell them to pray, know nothing about that.
Waking them up in the morning, telling them to pray, like things that Drake might not have had from his dad.
Teaching them morals, integrity, discipline. Listen, man, you don't know nothing about that.
So again, this is one of the hardest angles on the diss, where he's saying that Drake's dad wasn't around to teach him morals, integrity, and discipline. Basically, he's saying if you lacked all those things growing up, then how are you going to teach this to a child? You don't know nothing about that. And it's a brilliant angle because he's setting it up like this is the reason why Drake is the way he is today. You got no morals. You got no integrity. Nobody taught you.
Speaking the truth and consider what God's considering. You don't know nothing about that.
And what Kendrick also means is that all these qualities that Drake lacks, that he can't teach his own kids, those are things that he's instilling into his own children that are important to him.
Ain't 20v1, it's 1v20 if I gotta smack niggas that right with you.
Kendrick cleverly flips one of Drake's hardest lines from Push-Ups, where Drake alluded to the volume of people that were teaming up to conspire against him.
What the fuck is this, a 20v1, nigga?
Kendrick perfectly flips this narrative by claiming that it's really him who's outnumbered, as Drake has a team of writers helping him to pen the verses. It ain't 20v1, it's 1v20. I gotta smack dudes that write for you. That's fucking hard.
Yeah, bring him out too. I clean him out too. Tell Bean that he better stay right with you.
Kendrick alludes to the multi-talented artist Beam, who is known for writing for artists like Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, and even appears on the writing credits for Drake's track Rich Flex. Coming off his last line about having to fight against 20 of Drake's writers, Kendrick claims that regardless of the quality of Drake's writers, he'll still clean them out, meaning he will defeat them easily.
Am I battling ghosts or AI? Nigga feeling like Joel Osteen. Funny he was in a film called AI. And my sixth sense telling me to off him.
These bars have quite a bit of depth and cause a lot of confusion, and I'm going to try to clear it up here. In the first line, Kendrick asked the question if he is battling Ghost or AI, which feeds into his previous lines about Drake having ghostwriters. However, battling Ghost is also in reference to Drake using an AI Tupac to diss Kendrick, and Tupac has been dead since 1996, so he is quite literally a ghost. He then makes reference to a famous but alleged corrupt pastor, Joel Osteen, who was accused of both using AI and ghostwriters to pen his books and sermons. It's also important to note that Joel Osteen is riddled with plastic surgery, which could be a reference to the work that Drake had done himself. However, it gets even deeper when you find out that Osteen's church was once caught in a child abuse scandal. One of Osteen's volunteers was accused of doing this, and due to the narrative that Kendrick has levied against Drake's camp, this could also be another reference to just that. He then claims that Joel Osteen was in a movie called AI, which is actually incorrect as it was a child star, Haley Joel Osment. It's unclear if this was intentional or a mistake, but I believe that Kendrick just simply used the name Joel to connect the two people. We then find out that the two Joels are even more connected as Haley Joel Osment starred in the movies AI and The Sixth Sense. The line contains even more depth when we look at the fact that Haley Joel Osment's character could see and connect with Ghost in the movie The Sixth Sense. This ties perfectly into Drake's AI Tupac gimmick, because without being able to talk to Ghost, how could he really know if Tupac approved of what he was doing? That line is also crazy.
Yeah, OB-ho niggas is dick riders. Tell them run to America to imitate heritage. They can't imitate this violence.
So, following with the theme of Drake being an outsider, in this line, he's not just aiming at Drake, but at Toronto as a whole. Run to America, they imitate heritage, is Kendrick basically saying that the people of Toronto attempt to imitate LA gang culture. As you'll see in the upcoming lines, Kendrick is mocking Toronto gangs for being imitators of LA gangs and saying that they aren't a threat. And Drake showed a lot of disrespect to the West Coast with the AI shit, and now Kendrick's flipping that, dishing it back to him, hitting his city.
Don't speak on the family, Crody. You can get deep in the family, Crody.
Kendrick doesn't appreciate Drake speaking on his family, as he did just that on the Push-Ups track, where he made suggestions regarding Kendrick's wife, Whitney. He then uses the term Crody, which is another major cultural reference. Crody is a name flipped on the term Brody, which is a slang term derived from African culture. Brody is simply short for the term bro or brother, which are terms of African vernacular dating back to the early 20th century. However, in the last 4 or 5 years, the term Crody has began to surface in Toronto gang culture and eventually became more widespread amongst the people of Toronto itself. Even Drake started saying it.
Cody, turn me up.
So Kendrick is really trying to drive two things home here. One, Drake is again stealing from a culture that he has little to no connections with. And two, Drake is now using gang vernacular, something else he has no ties to. And Drake also has a cat that's named Crody, so he's pretty much calling Drake a pussy.
I be at Newhall King eating fried rice with a dip sauce and a blammy, Crody.
This line is extremely clever and has more depth than what people believe. New Ho King is a Chinese restaurant located in Toronto, and years ago Drake was robbed at this location for his watch. However, the line contains way more depth when we look at this in the context of the Kill Bill movie. One of the most highly regarded fight scenes of all time is when Uma Thurman is in a Chinese restaurant wearing the iconic yellow suit and fighting off countless people. Coming back to the fact that she recently offered Drake this suit And the fact that Kendrick flipped the 20v1 theory to claim that it's really him who has this battle, the line is even more crazy, as Kendrick is claiming that he will be in Drake City and that he's ready to take on everyone. Just think about it. She offers Drake the yellow suit for 20v1. He just flipped that line on him. Now he's in Drake City, in a Chinese food. Like, the reference makes that line even more fucking crazy, but everyone missed it. And that's why I take my time with this shit, because this is important.
We don't wanna hear you say nigga no more.
So again, as I explained before, people have taken this out of context in an attempt to make this about color, but this is not what Kendrick means. The entire premise of this record is quite literally painting Drake as a cultural outsider. In order to achieve this, Kendrick used the strategy of hitting Drake with undisputed truths. Kendrick's goal in this record was to showcase the elements that Drake incorporated into the costume that is his hip-hop persona. We saw references from people within the culture like Pusha T, Joe Budden, DMX, Rick Ross, and Meek Mill. Kendrick did this not because he didn't have any new information, but to drive home that the culture has already removed the mask from Drake on its own. This explains Kendrick's strategic use of the quote from The Wiz, "Everything they say about me is true." And let me remind you guys, I am not treating this thing like a fucking race. Like, I'm looking at the bigger picture of what all this means, knowing that in 10, 20 years, people are going to want to watch videos like this one, and I want that to be my video. Like, I'm a white dude I'm a guest in this culture. You know, like, if I can attach my name to this in any way, that is more than any money I'll ever make or any plaque or anything.
What's the Dirt is so dope, bro.
He kills it, right? His Kendrick
so
and
fire.
Drake.
Hold it, bro. That shit is so hard, dog. Run it back.
And shout out to my dude, What's the Dirt, because I do like him. I do.
Oh, yes, he's dope. What's the Dirt? Shout out to that person. The homie looked like he did a good job.
I saw that clip on YouTube. The guy did a good job.
He did.
He did a good job with that.
It's crazy.
Just want to give What's the Dirt his flowers. So dope, guys. So dope. I appreciate you guys for watching and I'm going to get to these comments because Omar had me cracking up. Hold on. Let me put my Auntie Nessa glasses on. Okay. Let's go back to when I heard about him and a dog, I was through. I pray it's not true, because in history, I ain't never heard no man of color messing with. Okay, I don't know about that one yet, so I got to do some research. I'm late. How you been up on the mountains meditating and you know this story before me? What's going on? Okay. And then let's see. I hope they just stop. We don't need beef. We need to unite and build. I get it. But you know, hip hop is a sport. Shout out to Screw. But not just that, you know, we've been doing battle. It's always been battles in hip hop. That's part of the element. The thing is that some people have been able to successfully, you know, shake hands in the future and let bygones be bygones because they understand what it is. But because of the fact that this has been like a long going, like I'll break down the history in the future, because What's the Dirt did a great job with that, but you can always go to his page and check it out. It's been brewing for a long time, you know, since the Control verse. So, you know, Kendrick just got fed up and was like, you know what, it is what it is. But and you're right, I would definitely wish for no man's downfall, but sometimes when folks step on your money, we break your whole leg. Yeah, you know, this is a business too, but the whole thing is K-Dot just dismantled him. So so at the end of the day, he had to, because Drake been not only subbing him, and he called him out, and he pushed his whole narrative toward a fan base, and now the fan base see. But see, my thing is also with a lot of Drake fan base and people that actually is into hip hop. There has been stories after stories after stories, and recent ones about Drake and younger women and different things like that. And so many people have swept that under the rug, and now they're acting like this is news. And that is my problem, because I had already said a while ago about that Millie Bobby Brown thing. If it was a regular man texting a 14-year-old that is not any blood relation and telling her he missed her and talking about boys, that would have been a problem. This is a man. We got to get over the celebrity thing. That's what people fail to understand. Celebrities stop idolizing these and worshiping these celebrities and acting like they're above everything. They're still people. And please go back to my Tupac video and see what Pac says about that if you don't believe me. Yes, the Joel Osteen line was dope because he actually did put both names together, but a lot of people didn't catch it and they only thought it was just Joel Osteen he was talking about. But he did put that in relation to Drake when it came to some of the different situations that happened, as well as the 6 cent in the ghost thing. So that was dope. Or the AI thing or whatever. And yes, K-Dot is way too heavy for Drake. Like this, it was so many triple entendres and so many hidden meanings that this is why this man is studied in colleges right now. This is why people that really understands K-Dot, love him because he continues to electrify the mind. Okay, he's here to electrify and not pacify. Okay. My view is every battle I've ever been in could have been two great artists creating something that would last. And that's true. And that's what I hope for Cole and for Kendrick, because they both, and just so you guys know, and I had already called that on one of my shows, that I had a strong feeling that Kendrick had called Cole and told him to bow out of this because he had bigger plans for Drake. And that's what happened. It wind up coming out that K-Dot had contacted Cole and told him to bow out of this because of this situation. He had to expose him. And I'm just happy that, it gave good content. Like, honestly, this battle was amazing. This one is going to go down as one of the dopest battles because of the fact that all Future and Metro Boomin was on top for Billboard. Then there was a song, one of Drake's songs made it, I think, Family Matters. And then you had pretty much Kendrick for 3 songs on the top Billboard, and the number one is Not Like Us. So I mean, at the end of the day, and then look, us YouTubers getting fed. Well, I'm not monetized right now, but a lot of the YouTubers are excited and happy because of the them taking away the copyrights for Kendrick songs, battle songs. So I mean, this was a moment, but this whole situation had to happen. It's time because we're going into a cultural shift, especially in hip hop. We can't stay in a low vibrational situation for long without us having to push it back up. Somebody's got to be that person that do that. And like my first video with Tupac, when he said, once again, I might not be the person that change the world, but I'm going to be the person that sparks the mind for the person that changes the world. And we're seeing it right now. Kendrick is changing the culture. You know, there, like I said in my last video, when the school teacher said that she teaches in a Drake driven school, and since this battle she's never seen these kids dissecting bars from Kendrick, and you know, and trying to understand big words and different things like that. So they're learning how to study better, they're learning how to actually understand more. Like everything is so fast paced and ADHD driven, because we have everything now at the fingertips. But when children go back to understanding and wanting to learn and wanting to read and wanting to study, that's taking it back to the best element, because their mind is being electrified. So I'm loving all of it. Okay. And thank you so much, Omar. I appreciate the shout out. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for your shout outs. I do like the fact that you always giving Eminem his props. And yes, and that's what I was saying about Eminem being who he is and still being dope. Mac Miller was being who he is. Beastie Boys, they didn't change who they were, and they were dope. My boy, oh man, one of the old schooler. Anyway, I can't remember his name, but he's dope. And you know, and he remained true to who he is. And that's what it's about. You get more respect in hip hop and more credibility when you remain true to who you are. People should never be able to, you know, expose you. Because once you they should never be able to Milli Vanilli you, because you can't come back from that. No matter how dope your beats were, none of that. No matter how many ghostwriters, there's always going to be a tarnish with your name. And that's what this was about. He had to dismantle him in order to change the culture. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I do want to shout out Stu Nino. Thank you so much. And matter of fact, I am on a soundtrack. Yay. I'm on Stu Nino's soundtrack. I don't know the name of it right now. So I'll be getting that information, because I just gave him my song and he told me that he liked it. And so it's going on the soundtrack. So I'm excited about that, guys. Thank you, everybody who actually watched on IG. Unfortunately, I hate IG only give you an hour, but I appreciate you guys for being engaged with me. Shout out to my YouTube channel. I'm noticing that New York and Cali has been definitely Cali been showing a lot of love. And I do believe it's my people from Cali, because I just moved from there. And so they've been giving me major support. And also my Fly City people, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for chiming in on my Facebook page. And before I leave, okay, we got another one. Let's see. Love you. Thank you for thank you. One day I want to share my view. Yes, definitely. This is my reaction channel, Fresh and Friends. That means that I'm always looking for people to come on. It's kind of like a cipher. So this reaction channel is a cipher. Anytime somebody want to jump on, all they got to do is say, Ness, send me the link, and you in there like swimwear. I'm going to take it out with, because I told y'all that I am showing some love to my old school Fly City people. So this song right here, once again, is Smile by Hammer Gang. And I'm going to take it out with that. And once again, thank you for watching. Love y'all and mean it. And support Real Men. Premiere will be coming up next week, next Wednesday. So I'm going to try to get some brothers on that. And Omar, I'll talk to you about that. I'll be sending y'all the topic. And if you're interested, y'all can jump on and have these discussions. Okay. This show is clearly dedicated to my brothers. Same format as Protect Black Women, but this is called Support Real Men. Okay. It's 5 episodes per season. So this is season 1, episode 1 coming up next Wednesday of Support Real Men. All right. Bye.
This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. See, I stayed in the gutter like Lee. Through the hard time, mama and your son, you believe that I could be anything I wanted. Give me everything I asked for. Went out your way to give me things I never asked for. My mama used to tell me all them niggas not your friends. Then I got shot by my so-called friend. Should've listened to my mama, cause Barbara got game. Football, basketball, you was at them games. Caused you a lot of pain, and I'm sorry for that. Gang banging, selling crack, I can't take that back. Can't replace that fact. That's just a chapter in my life. Just to see you, I close a chapter in my life. Drug dealing, thug living, constantly running the streets. All day, I get it from my daddy, I'm just like deep. The love run deep, and my sisters feel the same way. Hey, that's what the song say. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life.
Ma, I know you never asked for a son like me. Your third seed, how I fall so far from the tree. A black sheep, I was thirsty, so I drunk from the street. And what's beef? You know they say you are what you eat. I made my own bed, so I rest my head on the sheet. Doctors say you was brain dead, I wiped the tear from your cheek. Rub your head, kiss your forehead, ma, go get you some sleep. And I ain't mourn the day you went home, we celebrated for weeks. I know you're arting with your father, watching over your grandkid. While I'm sitting up in prison, my career at a standstill. Things change for your son when you back from an aneurysm. Step pop packed up and took our baby brother with him. Didn't leave us with no fair warning. He left us stuck in the crib with rent due in the morning. I set up shop with my brother Norman. While y'all ignoring, we getting dough, listening to the Time Jordan Morning Show.
You know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. I was made by the street, all I know is the gutter. I watched my mama fight crack, so I know about the struggle. July 21st, mama forced birth and spit me out. Drug Castro, Lord OE, sniffed the out. More high and premature, call me ahead of my time. Plus the blood haters, that's why I smile and think of you. I ain't mad, I'm a survivor, that's what you were meant to do. And when I blow, I'ma give you the life that was meant for you. Everything we've been through, I just put it in the songs. I know sometimes how I put it is wrong. Just forgive me, but if I get my foot in the door, I promise they won't forget me. If I don't take over the world, I promise they won't forget me. Everything my eyes seen, the drugs and guns, crack houses, street corners and bums. Niggas killing for crumbs. I got hurt, but my feelings is numb. Only reason I even is that what's still to come. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story, this is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me have my vision of life.
you I done burst slugs. Cause you my first love. When we met I was bloody, but you still gave me my first hug. That showed me the want for love. You named me after Papa Cuz, and I seen you. I'm surprised you not paraplegic. Anything that I needed, you went out and broke your back to retrieve it. I turned one, you bought me out probation. Said meant to be my occupation, and for you, I'd give anything. My heart, my kidney, liver alone. But that's nothing compared to letting Dr. Young deliver your son. I give you this G6 and watch you landing at your mansion just to watch you laughing and on now, money long strong now. We don't need the states no more. We could go home now. Hurry up and pack your bags. You've been waiting a long while, mama. Now I've been needing it for a long while.
You know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story. This is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me and my vision of life. You wanna know why? This is how I'm living my life. Look, I done lived a hideous life. This ain't a war story. This is my life. Pull out your camera and fucking picture my life and watch me and my vision of life.
Mama, the word love does not fully express how I feel, but